Welcome back, Knicks fans. That was a good win. You know, the first game back from All-Star break yesterday. It's the morning of Friday, February 23rd as I record this show. We're talking Knicks again, episode 631 here of BD4. Welcome to the podcast. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
You guys trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding.
That is
It's over.
See ya. 3,000 history for the next
Coming up, so KP, don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right, man. That was fun yesterday. You know, it was very fun to be back into the swing of things with the Knicks. And yeah, I've been in Yankees mode. I've been in spring training mode, and we do have more episodes coming out regarding the Yankees. But it's good to talk Knicks again. We needed that break. It was a much-needed All-Star break. I think everybody was... I mean, the Knicks were physically tired. I'm sure they were also mentally tired, as were the fans. I didn't watch a single second of All-Star break. I didn't see a minute of the skills dunk or 3-point, whatever else they had. I know they had the Steph Curry thing. Didn't see that. Did not watch a single minute of the All-Star game because on Saturday, which was it was all the events, I was watching UFC 298, so that was obviously a bigger priority. And then Sunday, I never watched the All-Star game, so just decided to skip over that. I heard it's the usual comments that come out of it. People bitching and complaining about the All-Star game is a joke now. It's not good. You know, they don't play defense. They shoot threes. They shoot half-court shots, open dunks. You know, the open court game is just too much. Like, it's, you know, I've kind of always had the opinion of, like, who gives a shit, because it is an exhibition All-Star game. It's one night a year, and you're never going to have to worry about it again. Now, if you are on the side that you want this to be more competitive, I think the NBA should probably look to go the MLB route, or at least the way the MLB used to do it, which was the winner of the MLB All-Star game got home field in the playoffs or in the World Series. I think they should do something like that with home court in the NBA. Whoever wins the NBA All-Star game should get home court for the finals. I think that would get them definitely playing defense again. But again, I stand on the side where it's just like, I don't care. I don't watch it anyway. The ratings are bad. I can't imagine a lot of people do. Because it's like, who cares? It's a game that means zero. So why, okay. Like, setting a bad example has been a narrative. Like, oh, what example? Like they of a meaningless game? People who watch the NBA know what the All-Star game is. They watch the other 82 games. I don't know, man. Anyways, we're going to talk Knicks. Welcome to the podcast, episode 631 of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. So I appreciate you stopping by to the show. The Knicks played last night, and they won a game, 110-96 against the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly. This was a game that looked like the Knicks were headed to blow the Sixers out. They got off to this 15-3 start. They were very hot from three, but Philly kept it competitive throughout the first half. Nick Bench checked in. They get hot. Josh Hart has some buckets. Bojan Bogdanovic, a tremendous second quarter. He didn't miss. And the Knicks go into the half up 69-46. Second half comes. Philly makes adjustments. They're not trapping as aggressively. The Knicks have an awful third quarter. Maxey, Lowry doing what he usually does against the Knicks. The officiating was a bit inconsistent. Philly brings it to within 6 points early in the fourth quarter. Thibs makes a change. We'll talk about that literally in 1 second. Hart and Dante knock down some big threes. The Knicks just lock down defensively, and they're able to gain a little bit of padding again, and they eventually win 110-96. And yeah, that's where I'm going to start, man. The strength of this Knicks team, you saw that last night. Their strength is their depth, is their lineup versatility. And my God, does Tom Thibodeau have a new toy that he can now tinker with. Tom Thibodeau, before these injuries hit the Knicks, obviously, I mean, this is something we've bitched about every single episode, very reluctant to go small. You never saw that. You didn't see Dante DiVincenzo at wing. You rarely saw Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson backcourts for extended periods. Now, yes, it took some injuries for him to finally go this route, but I think he's been realizing that these certain lineups are yielding good results, and now he's going to them willingly in spots where he could just be going with the over-reliable in size. But he chose to. He chose to, in that fourth quarter last night, to go Brunson, McBride, DiVincenzo, Hart, Achua. He chose to go with a small lineup, a switchable lineup, where you got 4 guards, 6'5" and under, and 1 big at 6'8". Deuce and Hart with their 6'9" wingspans, Precious with his 7'1" wingspan. This is a lineup that has foot speed. They were flying around. They were very effective in rotation. You have Deuce out there guarding 1 to 3. He's locking down Maxey. Precious is out there guarding 1 to 5. He's switching out on the perimeter onto smalls. He's not just limited to guarding 5s. Dante is in his off-ball help role. He's jumping DHO up top to lead the Knicks in transition. Does that at least once or twice a night. Picks off those flip actions. Like, the Knicks were getting killed early in the entire third quarter, and then early fourth quarter, it continued. It was bad, where Philly pulled to within 6 points at the 8:52 mark in the fourth quarter. They got it all the way down to 6. The Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, those double big lineups with Hart at wing continued to be brutal to watch at times. You know, just watching them in the third quarter, Brunson had no outlet to hit with 3 non-spacers out there, and he was getting doubled in penetration. You know, and you have those lineups out there, and Precious, sometimes he's uncomfortable in the corners, so he reverts to the dunker spot, which cannot happen with a non-spacing 5 out there, along with Hart. So it hurt their offense a little bit in the third quarter. I thought Thibs actually should have went Burks or Bogey earlier than he did in the third quarter there. Bogey had a great game, and we'll talk about him, but he had some trouble defending late in the third, early in the fourth. You know, Brunson was getting decimated on switches with no help. You know, Tyrese Maxey was just having his way. He was picking on him. He was blowing by him. So it got to a point at 8:52. Philly pulls within 6. Thibs calls a timeout, and he adjusts with Deuce McBride next to Brunson to guard point of attack, to navigate screens, and to switch. And then you had Dante, Hart, Precious, 3, 4, 5. And that very moment, the Knicks figured it out. They stopped Philadelphia's 40-23 second half run from the third quarter up until that point in the fourth. and all of a sudden a 6-point lead blows up and it becomes a 14-point win behind some fucking phenomenal defense. So that's my takeaway. My takeaway is that Thibs went to a lineup that he doesn't usually go to, a lineup that a lot of us have been advocating for, small ball, and it worked to a T. And it's going to come down to Tom Thibodeau doing things like this. Because if everybody's healthy, if, the Knicks have so much that they're able to do now. They have flexibility to be able to play 5 out and defend at the same time. This is going to help them match up against Boston, match up against Milwaukee a little bit better now. But it's going to come down to Tom Thibodeau. Will Tom Thibodeau get creative? Is Thibs able to maximize what he has by using certain lineup combinations and certain schemes with those certain lineups? Can he find the right minutes for Precious Achiuwa where he's in the right lineups and he's in the right defensive scheme? Can he find the right lineups and minutes for Bogey where he's able to maximize his shooting and spacing and also hide him defensively and keep him off the point of attack? Can he find the right lineups and minutes for Josh Hart where he's not detrimental? Does he have enough creativity? Because he certainly has the depth. He has so many options to go to if these guys return. Imagine that fourth quarter lineup with an OG Anunoby over Josh Hart at the 4, or over Precious Achiuwa at the 5, and you have Hart at the 4. I mean, the things they're able to do, the versatility that they have, there's no weakness with some of these lineups you could throw out there. So last night, I took as a positive sign that if healthy, maybe the Knicks have better playoff odds if this head coach is indeed pushing the right buttons and optimizing his depth. And it wasn't just that fourth quarter lineup. You know, it's those lineups where Bogey and Burks and Brunson share the floor, right? Now, the offense struggled overall last night. 110 points is nothing to write home about. But, you know, how many nights is Brunson going to shoot 28%? You know, with these lineups that Thibs is now able to go to, with the depth, I get giddy. I do. You can now put some more shooting around Brunson. You know, the Knicks, they took that 26-point lead in the second quarter because of that depth that they now have. Fairly early on in the game, they came with traps. They were blitzing high on Brunson actions, but the Knicks were able to put, Thibs was able to put Bogey and Burks on the floor, so Brunson was able to hit them or hit the short roll to find one of them. And credit to our bigs, Precious and Ihart, because their ability to make quick reads and survey and find a pass at a short pick and roll was very effective for the Knicks in the half court last night. It's a massive upgrade offensively to have those two guys playmaking at a short roll versus Mitch. And it was more so Precious last night, you know. And Precious and Brunson have a good tandem. They got great chemistry. You're seeing those 1-4 pick and rolls more and more with them. You know, Brunson's able to make the pocket pass to Precious. It's much easier for him to feed Precious with those pocket passes versus, you know, above the rim centers running pick and roll with him like Mitch and Sims, because he's too small and he's not comfortable throwing it that high. But I think that's why him and Precious and Ihart work so well together. So he's got those guys screening for him, those guys playmaking for him. He's got shooters like Burks, Bogey, and Dante. I mean, not to mention Dante DiVincenzo was massive. He's been massive all year. When he's on the strong side, when he's the one who's one pass over, the defense can't play off of that. They can't even take their eyes off him because his shot's so quick and it's so accurate. You saw a good example of that. Somebody posted a Twitter clip late in the third quarter. Brunson's on the wing, sizing up Hield. Dante's on the strong side corner. Hield cheats off of Dante into the gap. Brunson makes the pass. Dante knocks it down. Shit like that. That's who you want next to Brunson. You don't want Josh Hart next to him because you can't do things like that. So credit to Tom Thibodeau for finally making the right moves, and they executed it. So I just hope this is something we see going forward. Proceed with caution, but he did not have to go to this small ball lineup, and he did. And man, did it pay off tremendously. Let's head to our first break. When we get back, we'll hand out our game balls. Stay with us here on BD4.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show. Let's get to our game balls.
Bing bang.
Precious Achiuwa is getting the game ball among the starters last night. Thought he was great. His numbers there on the screen if you're watching the video. He had 18 points last night, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, 2 turnovers, shot 78%, 50% from 3. Shot 43% from the free throw line. It was a plus 15, though, across 38 minutes against Philly last night. He's continuing to play well. Kind of just talked about him there. 5 game balls now for Precious on the season. And like I said, man, give Thibs a big. Right? Give a mouse a cookie. Give Thibs a big. Say it all the time. You know. I saw a good tweet last night or this morning about Precious being his ability to defend 4 and 5 is why Thibs trusts him so much, as opposed to who was their backup for the last couple of years, Obi Toppin. Right? Obi was simply unplayable at moments in games because he had no shot to defend bigs. And he had no shot to defend wings. With Precious, you put him in the right lineups, in the right position, you do the right things schematically, he is going to thrive. He's able to defend different spots. And you're seeing that. And he's killed it. He got off to a slow start, but he's finally starting to fit in a little bit. Still very curious as to see what this ends up being. How he fits when this team's fully healthy. How many minutes he'll get. Does he become situational? And then long-term, big picture-wise, who's the odd man out of this 4-man big man rotation? Right. Does iHeart now become expendable? I have said before, I think Mitchell Robinson is probably the next one to go. I have a feeling the Knicks are going to flip him for some assets this offseason to help them further in that chase for a star trade. Maybe they lose iHeart because they're unwilling to pay what somebody else is able to pay. And then they keep Precious by matching whatever offer sheet somebody else throws at him. But I think Mitch is probably the next one to go this offseason just because he's the previous regime. They have no connection to him. So we'll see. But Precious Achiuwa continuing to do his damn thing. 5 game balls now with the Knicks. Pretty good for someone who was just acquired a couple months back. Among the Knick reserves, going to Bojan Bogdanovic. He had himself his best game as a Knick last night. 22 points, 3 steals, shot 62%. He was 6 of 6 on his threes. 2 game balls now with the Knicks in 4 games or 3 games. Pretty good. I said he's like Steve Novak with creation skills last night on Twitter. That's who he reminds me of. But yeah, the Knicks are able to run him in actions. You're seeing him featured in a lot of pin downs so far to create advantages. Last night, early in the fourth quarter, Deuce sets a pin down screen for him. Bogey shoots over the mismatch and Cameron Payne. A few times he had Bogey shooting over mismatches on the post. He's pretty good at that. A lot of spot ups. He snipes. I do worry a little bit about the defense, of course, right? I mentioned it on Facebook. I'm on social media a lot during the game. I like to get out my anger. During the first quarter last night, my concerns about his defense. He can shoot the shit out of the ball, but in Thibs' system, he's probably not going to play a ton. I mean, he only got, I think, 24 minutes last night, despite going 6 for 6 from 3. And he was only a +3 at the end of the day because when he's on the floor, you are conceding a little bit defensively. So I don't think he's a guy who's going to close a lot in a playoff game. I don't think he's a guy who's going to play a lot when Thibs cuts the rotation to 8.5 if they get healthy. Again, though, maybe if they're healthy, like when you have OG and Mitch and iHeart, you can play him with them and you're not worrying as much about his defense. There again, like we said, you can hide him, get him off the point of attack, if everyone's healthy. And that's. I guess we'll end with that. If everybody's healthy, it seems to become a daily topic here on the show. The injuries still scare the shit out of me. The last day or so has been everything I've been talking about. How everybody's just expecting everyone to come back at this date, like it's fixed and that's it. But nothing ever goes as planned, and you're seeing that. It started with the OG thing. Everybody told me, it's just going to be a couple days. You're overreacting. Bone spur, surgery, still out, still no timeline, still not participating in any on-court activities. And now Julius Randle comes out yesterday. People were first saying, he's got to be back by All-Star break. I even said March. And now I think that's unrealistic. Because yesterday, Julius comes out there, and he says surgery's not ruled out. So if he does come back and he plays through the pain, with his physical style, a guy who's going to use his brute strength and drive and post, how does that shoulder hold up? He's not going to be close to full strength. He's going to have to do maintenance on it. You run into the Heat in a playoff series again, which could very well happen. They're going to play dirty. I worry about Julius's health more than anybody else right now. He's already struggled in the postseason as it is. He had the ankle last year to worry about. Now he's got the shoulder now he has to worry about. I don't see this ending well for the Knicks. I said preseason. Preseason, we said it. I said if Julius Randle goes down, if he gets hurt, this shit's over. I just feel like the inevitable is going to happen. So it's hard for me to get too excited. Isaiah Hartenstein, everybody told me, All-Star break, he'll rest up and be fine. See what happens? He got 10 minutes last night, a couple of minutes to start each half. He could barely move. He was slow, couldn't get off the ground, limping around in the first quarter, completely unproductive. Didn't look good. I think he's cooked. I think it's a matter of time before you hear something that says Isaiah Hartenstein is now out for an extended period. No timeline. He is one bad fall from this being more than just an extended period. Mitchell Robinson, we'll see. This is a 7-footer coming back from ankle surgery. This is a guy who usually takes his time when he's back on the court. to find a rhythm. Takes him a bit, right? To work himself back into shape, and we know how that works with Mitch. We've seen him struggle for weeks when he gets back. So everybody's just expecting everything to go perfectly. I don't see it that way. This is why I'm kind of tempering my expectations now. My hopes, my expectations are very low regarding a 2024 playoff run. I'm not really thinking about that anymore. But the optimism in me is about the future. I think this team has a bright future. But I'm kind of back to where I was months ago, where I'm like, all right, this year doesn't really mean much. Because I don't see this ending well for the Knicks this season. But maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, and maybe everything is going to be fine. This was the big win. If you care about getting a seed on home court. You know, Philly came into this game just a half game behind the Knicks for fourth. So the Knicks needed this win. Now they have Boston tomorrow night. National TV game. 10 games back of Boston. I'm not excited for this game. If the Knicks are at full strength, maybe I'm excited for it. Yeah. I would love to see what they look like, but we haven't gotten to see that yet with this new team. It's the fact that this is on national TV is like, yeah, of course it is. You know, if things go bad, I'm totally preparing for a very rational, super reasonable, totally sensible reaction from national media, who of course watch the Knicks every night. You know, so we'll see. At least it's at the Garden, so maybe they do have a puncher's chance. But I don't know. With these injuries, no Randall, no OG, no Mitch, probably no iHeart. I can't imagine he's going to play much tomorrow. I don't know. With that said, let's head to our final break, get back and wrap this up with our trivia. And that will be that. Stay with us. Be right there. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right, let's finish this up because I have some things to do. I got to run. True or false? The 76ers haven't beaten the Knicks in 2 straight games since winning 15 in a row versus them from 2017 to 2021. True or false? The Sixers haven't beaten the Knicks in 2 straight games since winning 15 in a row against them from 17 to 21. Let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. Well, wherever you can reach me. But that's it. As far as this episode, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Episode 631 of BD4. And look forward to some Yankees content. I'm going to try to get one out this weekend on their first spring training game, which takes place tomorrow. So we'll probably have something on that. If I can get our third guest that we were supposed to have for our season preview, part 3 of that will come out sometime this weekend. If I can get this guest to join us. But there will be some more Yankees content regardless coming forward. As for the Knicks, we'll continue to do this the rest of the way. So that's that for episode 631. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you then. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.